Hey guys, Foxdrop here, welcome back to our Road to Master series. Today we're going to be jumping right into the action, straight into our games. We're trying to get back into our Diamond 2 promos, which is, if you watched the last episode, sadly, where we failed to achieve at the end of the last video. So today, like I say, Diamond 2 games here. Gragas is someone who, if you've watched a lot of these Road to Master videos, someone you'll be seeing a lot of and someone you've already seen a lot of. But he is my best champion, and I always say that when you're trying to climb, you should focus on just like a small pool of champions. And that's what we're doing just by playing Gragas all the time, because he's our best champion, you know, and just play what you're good at, and I highly recommend that you do that. So these clips are actually from really long ago. I've been trying to get these videos out for so long, and it means that we've, you know, I've been struggling a bit with that. And these clips are actually from before Gragas' nerfs. Now, not too much has changed as far as what you're seeing. There are little things which may be different, like you saw my ultimate was a bit different there, but I'm actually still playing Gragas, even though despite his nerfs, so thankfully I'm not too down the shitter. But it is a bit unfortunate when your best champion gets nerfed and, you know, your one-trick champion goes down the toilet, because that's doesn't help you climb too much. So as you're seeing in this game, we're not really having the best of early games. Like, we're at the 20-minute mark, which is what you're seeing here, we're down half their kills. And that really sucks. Like, that's really, really bad for us when, you know, we have a pretty good late game team. Which is, you know, that's like, it's a double-edged sword. Like, if the late game team is behind at this stage of the game, it's really hard for them to win, because they can just get punished ridiculously hard, because they've not reached their like power spikes, right? But at the same time, it also gives you that window of opportunity to come back into the game if you can find ways to stall the game out. Now, whenever you're playing against a Kali, really important thing to do, like you just saw there, is to put pink wards down on their shroud so that they can't go invisible. Any kind of invisibility champion, they play around that invisibility, so if you put pink wards down, then you'll be able to see them in their invisibility, and it kind of cock blocks like a whole bunch of their kit. So like you saw there with the Kali, we did the exact same thing. And I mean, this game really is not going too well. Like you're seeing, we're defending an inhibitor in our own base. Cassiopeia whiffing a very splendid ultimate right there. But this is the reason why I like playing Gragas, is because even if you do fall behind, he's a really versatile champion. He's someone who can influence games, like no matter what the game is like, no matter how it's going, he can still influence the games. And so I don't have to snowball early. Like, I don't have to do loads of things in the early game. Like, if I was playing Lee Sin right here, I'd feel really fucked up, because like I wouldn't feel like I could influence the game too much. But playing Gragas, you can just hold on, it's okay, and like I don't have to, it's not like a do or die in any situation for me. So our main like goals for this game to win, obviously getting picks is great, but the way which we're going to win is we're going to have to just like sit on this Tristana's face. Now she gets like, these past few fights she's just been destroyed. That's because like she's not really reached her late game yet, so it's kind of like hard for her, and to be honest, she's just getting shat on like anyway just by itself. I think the last clip, it was a bit of her fault, she walked too close to a Kali, but that one you can't help. Like, yeah, Nautilus head butted into you, and then bloody Nautilus ulted, and then Rodeo flashes over the wall. Yeah, you're probably not going to be able to survive that one. But having said that, if they go really hard on you like that, then it does give you that opportunity for your team to kind of be able to do some things. If you draw a lot of attention yourself, then your team can kind of mop up. And that's also what leads to this play here, is we managed to pick off the enemy jungler. So it's a really good opportunity to rush down Baron. I mean, we're still behind in kills at this point. Now, we're behind in kills, we're behind in gold as well, but we can go for a Baron play because the enemy jungler is dead, and it's late enough that we have the damage to take it. Now, this is like an interesting attempt at a flank here by me. It kind of goes wrong because I don't really get a good ultimate off onto the Ezreal, but it's still okay. Like, it's not that bad. It's alright. And at this point in the game as well, both Cassiopeia and Tristana have a crap ton of damage, so they can just do their own thing, and as long as I kind of protect them and just start fights and stuff, that's all I got to do. Now, I want you to shout when you see a play that's way too aggressive. Okay, if you didn't just scream at that point right there, then you're doing something wrong. You probably shouldn't flash into two people when your Guardian Angel has just been popped and you're on 40% health. Alright, away from your team, probably not a good idea. However, having said that, even though I get absolutely destroyed and obliterated, it actually ends out pretty well, because we managed to get 2 extra kills, and it leads us to be able to push the Nexus down and win. Like, I mean, this is the difference between losing Elo and gaining Elo, is winning games like that. Games you shouldn't win, that you really have no place winning. Like, that's the big difference, really. You know, like, the difference between climbing and just being stuck in your Elo. So this is like the first game of our promos now. So we won that last game. We got put into our Diamond 2 promo. So we're currently in Diamond 3, get promoted to Diamond 2. In the promotions for Diamond 2, I should say. And so this is our first game. Now, it starts off pretty well right here. Getting some kills into bot lane is great. If you want to just like camp a lane, then that lane, you know, can carry really, really hard. The downside to that though is that lane has to carry really, really hard. So it's not, honestly, it's not a bad strategy for solo queue. You just make it so that you camp a lane, you get them a lot of kills, especially if it's like the AD carry. Like look at this, like all of these clips in the early game, we're like 6 minutes into the game, and I've been bot 3 different times. You know, this AD carry is getting his fed out of his nutsack right here. He's going to be ridiculously strong, and that's good. Having a really strong AD carry is great. And, you know, we're having a pretty good early... Unlike the last game, we're having a good early game. You know, we're almost double the kills. But this is pretty terrible here by me, though. Like, this is just like a really big misplay by me. Obviously, the body slam looked terrible. It was terrible. But it looked even worse because I thought Kennen was going to run away, so I went in on him. Like, kind of predicting that he would run away. But he didn't, you know. He just turned on us, so I mucked my E up. And then when I used my ultimate, so Yasuo could just use his ulti. I think Yasuo was stunned there, but it didn't work, and it would just look really terrible. You know, it just was an awful play, really, really bad. However, having said that, Yasuo is a champion who scales pretty well the later the game goes on, so he doesn't need to do too much in the early. It's all right. But I mean, if you just watch this game, you'll see loads of really small mechanical mistakes that I'm gonna be making. I've already made a lot of small mechanical mistakes, and it's stuff like that which is just like it's a fairly big deal. Honestly, it's not like the end of the world, really. Like, it's not. You know, because I mean, look at my score. You know, I've been a part of like half of our team's kills, and that right there was a really good mechanical play. Like, really good mechanical play. Like, I just E flash ult, boom, there it is. How's your father? And you know, but like that. You know, there's no real reason. I wanted to be nice to the Jhin and give him the kill, but I just get him killed instead. You know, it's just like just little dumb things. Getting grabbed by Blitz. So this is probably a good. It's probably good I tank that, because it's, if not, Jhin would be tanking it. You know, but it's just really awkward things, you know. It's just like a really, really awkward game. And, I mean, it's funny because we had a good early game, right? So you'd think that we would be able to not be sucking at this point in the game. But apparently that's, you know, a little too much to ask. Especially against that team comp. Like, I just failed my ultimate there as well. Especially against this team comp. This is certainly a team comp that you don't want to have these massive team fights against, because they are very good in their team fights. Like Ken and Lissandra just by themselves will completely dictate the way a team fight goes. And then Lucian's versatile enough that he can just, you know, fit into whatever team comp he wants to. But we don't really. The thing is, you know, if I remember correctly for this game as well, we had the Yasuo and Jhin were just raging at each other the whole time. So I think Jhin literally gave up like 15 minutes into the game. Like, he didn't want to play. He went AFK for like 2 minutes or something and then came back, but still he just didn't try in this game. And it's just, you know, I don't know, it's just one of those games really. Like, games like this are quite frustrating, because if you look at my score as well, like I have a fairly decent score. I've made a lot of mistakes. I know I've made a lot of mistakes. I'm not saying like, you know, I'm playing really, really well, whatever. But it's one of those games where you feel like you're doing stuff, but it's just like, it's not enough, you know. But it's easy. You know, and like that, you know, I got this Jhin so bloody fed, he just dies 1v1 to the enemy AD carry, you know. It's just like, it's frustrating, you know, to play games like this, but, you know, this just chase ain't gonna get me any further, you know. It's just one of these games, honestly, though. You know, at this point, I've kind of accepted that we're gonna lose, and I think losing is a big part of climbing. That sounds really dumb, but I think it actually is, you know. If you can accept your losses and just be like, you know that you are going to lose a lot of games when you're playing League. It's just how it is. You are going to lose, and instead of taking every loss really, really hard, you should learn from it instead. And there's a bit of a black screen on this here. It's not meant to be here, but it gives me a little bit of time to talk what I want to talk about, which is saying, you know, losing is important. Don't get frustrated when you lose, and don't tilt. A second way to not tilt is to have an untilt game the game afterwards, which is what I'm doing here. I'm playing a role which is simple to play, support. I've changed support now. We one loss in our promos, which isn't good, 0 and 1. But I picked a simple role and a simple champion as well. So this is my untilt game here, because Alistair is someone who is easy to play, because you saw I had a lot of mechanical mistakes last game, right? So if I pick a champion who doesn't have a lot of mechanical demands to him, then it's hard for me to fuck up, and that's a good way for me to kind of have kind of come back, you know, like have a game where I untilt, because it's easier for me to perform on someone like Alistair, you know, and especially support as well. Like I can just focus on running around and just doing shit, and not having to like make massive plays and having to carry and stuff, you know, because I'm just playing support. So I've actually got Grassy Undying this game as well. That's a bit of a mistake. I didn't want Grassy Undying, but you know, whatever. But this is, you know, like, this is one of those games that doesn't have the best start for us, but it's okay, you know, it's fine. Like we're not getting absolutely destroyed, and that's good at least, you know, that's okay, that's fine. It's not ideal, but it's whatever, right? And you know, it's just like this plays like this right here, why I love playing Alistair. Like you feel like you're making a lot of impacts, because you can knock people up, you can start plays, and you can get shit done. That's why I like playing Alistair. You know, I play Blitzcrank mostly because like I'm just god at grabbing people, but you know, Alistair is someone it feels like you have a lot of impact on as well. And he's really simple to play, and he's very versatile. You can either play him aggressively to start plays, or you can play him defensively and like peel for your team and stuff. He's really cool. You're not pigeonholed like Jano, who can just peel. You can't really go aggressive on Jano. That was, by the way, this play here, if you saw the Shen ulti, that is like the difference between a low elo and like a high elo Shen ult. Like Shen ults in higher elo, what they do is they ult to start a play. That's a really good way to use your Shen ult, is you ult just like a TP, rather than using it just as a shield, which is what they do in lower elo. So plays like this right here, this play, what you're seeing, this Alistair play here, these are the plays that enable you to carry as support. Like, people often, that's not how you pronounce that word. People often complain that they can't carry support, right? It's impossible to carry. And I think that the carry potential is a bit lower, but you can still carry by doing stuff like that. You know, like, I ran up behind them, I flanked them, and I started the play. You know, I started the fight, and all that's happening right here is because I managed to make that play. You know, like, and if I hadn't made that play, maybe someone would have got caught out later on, and then, you know, none of this would be happening, and we'd be getting screwed over right now instead of pushing into the enemy base. Like, being able to play aggressive and to start plays when you think it's a good idea to do it. This is why I often say, like, the power of initiation in solo queue is really important, because it enables you to do stuff like that. You know, you can start plays, you can make it happen. That's all good shit. Oh, hello, Shad. You keep knocking that over, Shad, I swear down. But this is what I mean about being able to play like versatile. I tend to be quite offensive when I'm playing supports, but you know, like you saw in that team fight, I didn't go forward much. I just sat with my carry and helped him to not die, and that's good. You know, it's fine to be doing that kind of thing in solo queue. Especially, like, you can see my items. I've gone for Zeke's as well. Like, I'm all about getting this AD carry. I'm all about letting this AD carry do her thing. You know. I don't necessarily need to do too much else. But this is like right here, I always complain about people, Alistair players and Tryndamere players, I joke about how they get their ultimates mixed up. Tryndamere players use their ultimate when they're dying, not when they're about to die. And Alistair players use their ult when they're about to die rather than when they're dying. You know, because Alistair ult is something that you want to use to like prevent damage happening rather than prevent your death, and obviously Tryndamere is the other way around. But either way, this is another example of just me going a bit too aggressive here. I did that in the first, I think it was the first game or the second game, whatever it was. I think it was the first game. Just a little bit too aggressive. I pulled the trigger a little bit too much there. Not the smartest of plays, but whatever. In the end, it's fine. All works out. We tie up the series, guys. We're 1-1. Last game in the series. Can we bring it back and win at Diamond 3 promos and get into Diamond 2? I step back towards Master Tier because obviously, you know, I was Diamond 1 at the beginning of this series, so don't really want to go much further down the ranking. Diamond 3 is low enough for me. So we get our signature champion here, probably our best champion, Blitzcrank support. And Blitzcrank, even though we just got a kill there, like a in-lane low-level kill, I didn't get an assist, which is pretty funny. But that grab right there, listen, mate, this is why I play Blitzcrank. It's all about making the plays and getting shit done, you know. That's why I play Blitzcrank. I recently carried my brother, Thai, playing full AP Blitzcrank. So, I'm just, you know, it's just all about the Blitz, really. It's just too much fun to play Blitzcrank. I've got Grassy Undying again this game. I didn't want that. I wanted Bond of Stone. I don't know if I said Bond of Stone or Strength of the Ages last game when I was talking about Alistair. But either way, you want Bond of Stone on these two, more or less. You can do whatever you want, really, but Bond of Stone is the best one. And it's all about baiting the enemy team into their deaths as well. So we lose 2 people, but we get 3 people. It's a decent trade. And again, this is how you want to initiate your plays on Blitzcrank. Walk up to people and punch them, and then go for the grabs afterwards. You don't necessarily want to just walk up to people and grab them, because or walk like towards people and try and grab them, because they can dodge really easily. So it's better to initiate with your punch rather than initiate with your grab. Like right there, if I was able to, I could walk up to Ari, fist her, and then grab her. But that's obviously not feasible when it's under the tower. And still, it enables us to like blow her ult, so it's still good. But you know, that's just a little bit of a Blitzcrank tip for you boys and girls. But either way, we're actually against a Teemo jungle this game, like legit. We are against Satan himself in the jungle. Teemo is not a bad, well, he's kind of bad. He's not as bad as you would think he is by me saying Teemo jungle, but he's really nothing special. And I think he has to get a few items as well, so he's not particularly good at this stage of the game. But if you look at like the timestamps here as well, we're destroying this game really hard, and we're not even like 17 minutes into the game. And I think the most impactful thing here about this game, what I want to point out, is that a really good way to snowball games is take a look at the towers in this game. Like, we've taken 2 towers in every lane but top lane, and that top lane tower's on like 10 health. So that's just the way we've been winning this game, is the most efficient way for us to be snowballing that we've done this game. We have done a ridiculously efficient snowball, which is just taking towers left, right and centre. That's what you want to do if you want to snowball really bloody hard. And look at this. Just past the 20-minute mark here, and it's not even going to be a surrender. Well, they might surrender, but we just genuinely stomped in 20 minutes. So from last episode where we almost got into our promo, almost won our promo, sorry, but couldn't quite make it happen, and this episode where our first promo game was terrible, we actually bring out the victory. So today we bring it back. We get into our Diamond 2. And from here on out, boys, the only way is up. We're going to get that master tip. So thanks all for watching this video, boys and girls. I appreciate it. Hope you have a great day, all that lovely business. And I will see you in my next video.